Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a stack of insights and really try to cut through the noise to get to what truly matters. Today, we're plunging into a platform most of us, well, navigate almost daily, often without much thought. LinkedIn. We all kind of think we know how it works, right? Especially the numbers, likes, shares, comments. But what if there's this whole other layer, maybe a more powerful layer beneath the surface, a dark side to the metrics we've been overlooking? We've got some really fascinating material here digging into what our sources are calling LinkedIn's dark side metrics. And honestly, it challenges a lot of what you probably thought about professional impact online. Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today isn't just about what's obvious, the visible stuff. It's really to go beyond those immediate clicks and shares and figure out what really drives professional influence and, growth on the platform. It's about maybe shifting your perspective to get a truer, more strategic picture of your impact.
And that shift, that's exactly why this is so important for you listening. What's fascinating here is, our usual way of looking at LinkedIn analytics. It's often pretty incomplete, sometimes even misleading, frankly. The real value for your career isn't just in those numbers LinkedIn puts right out front on your post or profile. Not really. It's in understanding these deeper, often overlooked data points, the ones LinkedIn itself kind of downplays or, keeps in the background. These hidden metrics, as we'll explore, are what can genuinely give you a significant edge, often a surprising one, in shaping where your career goes. They tell a story that goes way beyond just vanity.
That makes a lot of sense. So let's start with that common idea, the one the sources call deceptive simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, I think, see a post with a ton of likes, maybe goes viral, and think, wow, that person's huge.
You're right. That's the immediate reaction.
But the material we looked at makes this really stark point, almost counterintuitive. That viral post, say, 1,000 likes, it might actually have zero genuine engagement or lead to absolutely no career advancement. It's just a flash in the pan.
Exactly, a quick hit.
So can you elaborate a bit? Why do visible things like likes and shares only tell, as the source puts it, half the story? What the other half we're missing?
Yeah, it's a great question because it hits the nail on the head. The issue is that these surface reactions, they feel good, sure, but they don't really show strategic performance on LinkedIn. If your goal is actual influence or thought leadership or maybe tangible career moves like getting a client or an interview or a speaking gig, then you absolutely need to look beyond just stacking up likes. The hidden data points, these dark metrics we're talking about, that's where your strategic performance really shows up. Think of it less like a popularity contest, more like a targeted campaign. We're moving past what are basically vanity metrics numbers that look good but don't mean much to data that actually impacts your professional growth. LinkedIn's algorithm, for instance, is way more interested in deeper, sustained interactions than just a quick scroll by like. It knows the difference.
That distinction is huge, isn't it? Surface popularity versus strategic performance. It almost feels like we've been playing the game wrong, or at least not seeing the full board. So, okay, if we can't fully trust likes and shares, how do we know if our content is genuinely hitting home, making a real impact beyond a quick scroll? This is where it gets really interesting, I think. Our sources talk about true impressions revealed and something called stopping power. Now, I always figured an impression was just, my post showing up on someone's screen. Is it more complex than that?
It is, yeah, much more meaningful.
What are true impressions then, exactly? How do they differ from just a view count? And what's this stopping power all about?
Great question. So true impressions, think of it less like did it appear and more like did it register? It's the critical difference between someone who actually saw your content, like it paused in their feed long enough for their brain to process it versus someone who just zipped right past it. That difference, that's what reveals your content's stopping power.
Okay. The ability to make someone pause the scroll.
Precisely. Think about how you scroll, you skim, then maybe something catches your eye and you stop. Your content's stopping power is its ability to make someone do just that, even for a second. It signals whether your headline or maybe the image or the first line of text was compelling enough to break through the noise.
Okay, so how do we even gauge that? Is it something LinkedIn tells us?
Not directly in a single number called stopping power, but you can infer it. Look at things like the view rate on videos, how many people started watching versus just saw it load. Or look at the ratio of thoughtful comments to impressions. If people are writing real comments, they definitely stopped scrolling, right?
That makes sense. And you mentioned time spent.
Yes, time spent on post. This is a hugely important hidden metric. It signals genuine interest. I mean, think about it. A 30-second view on an article you shared. That signals way deeper engagement than, say, 100 quick likes where someone just double-tapped and moved on.
Right, because they actually consume something.
Exactly. That longer view tells LinkedIn, and it should tell you that the content provided real value, enough to hold attention. If your content holds attention, people are getting something from it. That's a powerful signal to the algorithm.
So if I post a detailed analysis and I see comments referring to points later in the piece.
That's a great indicator. Or if people are clicking see more to read the whole thing, it shows they didn't just glance at the first line. That's far more impactful than a quick feel-good post that gets likes, but no real thought.
And LinkedIn's own calculation for engagement, it's smarter than just likes.
Oh, much smarter. The real engagement rate that LinkedIn uses internally is far more sophisticated. It actively includes things like profile clicks, saves, and shares, not just those surface reactions.
Saves and profile clicks.
Think about it. A save means I want to come back to this, which signals high value. A profile click means I'm interested in the person behind this post, signaling authority. And a share is basically an endorsement to their own network. It says, this is worth amplifying. These actions tell LinkedIn your content has substance and prompts deeper interaction, not just fleeting appeal. They show real value.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just about getting eyes on it, but holding those eyes.
And inspiring them to take another step, exactly.
That's a massive shift from just counting likes. It makes me think about our profiles, too. Moving beyond the content for a sec, how does LinkedIn's algorithm look at our actual profiles? The source mentioned profile dwell time. What's that about? And why does it matter? I mean, who thinks about how long someone stares at their profile page?
Right. It's not something we typically track, but it's incredibly significant. Profile dwell time is literally how long someone spends on your LinkedIn profile page after clicking through. And it matters because that time spent signals your authority, your relevance, your expertise to LinkedIn's algorithm. If people are spending time reading your About section, checking your experience, looking at skills, maybe reading recommendations, it tells the algorithm, hey, this person is a valuable resource, they have depth.
So my profile isn't just a static resume, it's interactive data.
In a way, yes. Think of it as your professional hub. If someone lands there and immediately bounces off, that's a weak signal. But if they linger, explore different sections, it suggests genuine interest in you as a professional, not just a passing interest in one post.
So having a really well fleshed out profile helps here.
Absolutely. A compelling about story, detailed projects, even showing active group participation, all that can encourage longer dwell time. The algorithm sees this and thinks, this profile offers value, let's show it more often in relevant searches or feeds.
How would you know if dwell time is increasing?
Again, indirectly. Maybe you see a spike in connection requests right after you update a section. Or people mention something specific from your profile in a message that means they read it, they spent time there.
Okay, and this idea of someone spending time on my profile, it connects to the network itself, doesn't it?
It really does, because it's not just any eyes, it's about the quality of those connections. Which brings us to another key distinction, engaged versus total connections. The core idea here is simple. Quality beats quantity every single time. Our sources are clear. 500 active, genuinely engaged connections will do far more for you than 5,000 dormant ones you never interact with.
So it's about real interaction, not just collecting names.
Precisely. Commenting thoughtfully on their posts, sharing their relevant content, initiating meaningful DMs, actual back and forth, that builds a quality network.
And that quality network then helps spread your stuff.
Exactly. That leads right into network amplification.
Yeah.
When your active connections engage with your content, liking, commenting, sharing, it doesn't just appear on their feed. It can multiply your organic reach exponentially within their networks.
Wow. The ripple effect.
Yes. Imagine one of your highly engaged connections, maybe someone respected in your field, shares your post, boom. That share instantly exposes your insight to their entire network, potentially full of your ideal prospects or collaborators. Your quality network acts like this trusted amplifier, spreading your message much further and to more relevant audiences. It's like having enthusiastic advocates versus just shouting into the void. You can often see this in your post analytics reaching way beyond your direct connections.
That makes perfect sense. A small, engaged army beats a silent crowd. It's about relationships. Okay, so we have all these hidden insights, stopping power, dwell time, engaged connections. How do we actually use this stuff? How do we get more strategic with our networking, our content? So what does this all mean for us, the listeners, practically? You mentioned the source calls, the who's viewed your profile feature a gold mine.
Hmm.
Most people just glance at that, right?
It truly can be a gold mine, but you need to be proactive, strategic about it. That who's viewed your profile list, it lets you turn anonymous viewers into potential strategic outreach opportunities. Instead of just noting, oh, someone looked, you analyze who they are, their role, company, industry. Then, if it makes sense, you initiate a personalized connection or a conversation. It flips the script from passive observation to active engagement.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say a VP of marketing at a target company views your profile. Instead of a generic connect request, you could send a personalized message like, "Hi, name. I saw you visited my profile recently. Given your work at company in specific area, I thought you might find my recent article on relevant topic interesting. Would be happy to connect." See? It turns that passive view into a proactive, value-first connection based on understanding their potential interests.
That's much smarter. And it uses the data.
Right. And this feeds directly into what the sources call company and title intelligence. By regularly analyzing the demographics of who's viewing your profile companies, job titles, seniority levels, you get real feedback. Are you actually reaching the decision makers or influencers you want to reach?
So if I'm aiming for CEOs but only getting interns,
Exactly. That tells you something critical. Maybe your content isn't hitting the right note or your profile isn't signaling the right expertise. It helps you course correct. It's invaluable insight.
and this then helps shape the content itself.
Directly. That's content strategy optimization. Use those audience insights, who's viewing, who's engaging deeply, to craft content that specifically attracts your ideal professional network. If you know VPs of sales are looking, tailor posts to their challenges, their strategic interests, the trends they care about. It makes your content creation targeted, relevant, and way more effective at pulling in the right kind of attention and engagement. You're not just throwing stuff out there anymore. You're speaking to the people you actually want to connect with.
That's incredibly powerful, turning passive data into active strategy. It really is a mindset shift. Okay, so we've uncovered these dark side metrics, these hidden levers of influence. How can our listeners start using this right away? What are the concrete steps for, as you said, turning dark data into gold?
Okay, first and maybe most important, A/B test everything. Use these dark metrics, even inferred ones, to systematically experiment. Don't just guess. Test content types, posting times, engagement tactics.
Like try a text post versus a visual one.
Exactly. And monitor which one seems to have more stopping power, maybe generates more thoughtful comments relative to views, or which one leads to longer time spent on post, which you might infer if it gets more saves or profile clicks.
Test posting times too.
Definitely. Try posting at 9 a.m. versus, say, 5 p.m. See when you get not just views, but maybe more profile clicks after the post, suggesting people had time to dig deeper. Gather your own dark data on what works for your audience.
Okay, A/B testing. What else?
Optimize your peak engagement timing. Forget generic advice. Use these deeper metrics to find when your audience truly engages, saves, comments, shares, profile clicks, not just when they happen to scroll by.
So if my profile views spike late at night,
That might be your prime time for deeper engagement. Align your schedule with when deep engagement happens for you. Even if LinkedIn doesn't show time spent directly, look for patterns in saves or detailed comments.
got it. Test, find peak times.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yes. You have to track and respond. Actively monitor these hidden signals. Notice which posts drive profile clicks, which content gets saved or shared, who's viewing your profile after specific activities. Make it a feedback loop. Observe the dark data. Adjust your strategy. Repeat. Look, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the main message is really to shift your focus completely. Stop chasing the easy, visible stuff, the basic likes, the vanity metrics. They don't tell the real story. Instead, start tracking the dark data, the real indicators of interest and interaction. That's what actually drives professional influence and opens doors. And, maybe LinkedIn doesn't highlight these because simplicity helps get everyone on board, but for real leverage, you got to dig deeper.
This has been absolutely eye-opening. Really, it's so clear that the real power on LinkedIn isn't about chasing likes. It's about understanding these deeper signals, knowing who's really paying attention and what actually resonates. It's about cultivating meaningful activity, building genuine influence, not just making noise, using the platform to its full potential.
Absolutely. And this really raises an important question for everyone listening. Now that you understand these secrets, now that you have this sort of roadmap, What are you going to test first on LinkedIn? Are you going to focus on boosting your content's stopping power? Maybe experiment with better visuals or headlines? Or will you work on refining your profile, that about section, project details to increase dwell time? Or maybe start strategically reaching out to those goldmine profile viewers with a personalized, value-driven approach. Stop chasing vanity metrics. Start tracking the dark data that actually drives your professional influence and career growth. The power to truly optimize LinkedIn to change your professional path, well, it's right there for you to grab.